It's been almost 5 years, half a decade since Starfield was first announced back in 2018, and it's been a long wait ever since then. And of course it's been even longer for those of us who have been following the game since the IP was first leaked back in 2015. There's no doubt that Starfield is one of the most anticipated games ever, following the massive success of Bethesda Game Studios' last games with Skyrim and of course Fallout 4. The Starfield subreddit already has over 100,000 members, and we've only seen around 10 minutes of raw gameplay. There's no denying that this game is going to be huge when it finally drops, but what if it sucks? What if we are just months away from another Fallout 76 release or Cyberpunk 2077 release? I do think that Cyberpunk is the more fair game to compare Starfield to, since it was sort of in the same boat. Thousands of people were extremely excited, we had a lot of promises, it was kind of a new IP, and of course the game was really bad at launch, whereas Fallout 76 just lost a lot of interest as soon as we found out that it was an online game. But either way, what is going to happen if Starfield is a bad game? I think it really depends on your definition of bad. Starfield could have a terrible launch but still be a really great game underneath all of the bugs and glitches, much like Cyberpunk. If this happens, it would lose a lot of people, no matter how much Bethesda fixes it over the years. You take a look again at Cyberpunk and it's nowhere near as big as everyone thought it would be, because a lot of people played on day one, got a refund and stopped caring. I think having a good launch needs to be at the top of Bethesda and Xbox's priority list right now. After how much backlash Xbox has been getting from Redfall, how much negativity Bethesda Game Studios has gotten since Fallout 76, and so on. I've been saying it for a while now, but Xbox really does need a win, and if Starfield isn't the big W that we're all hoping for, it's going to look terribly bad for Bethesda and Xbox. Starfield needs to be running very well on day one, have as little bugs as possible, and on top of it, a lot of console players are calling for 60 FPS, which honestly I agree with. It's 2023, there's no reason for a current gen game to be 30 FPS anymore. But I mean, that's just if Starfield has a bad launch. What if the actual game itself is utterly awful? What if it's boring, on top of not working right? What if we find out that the marketing has been filled with lies once again, like we're seeing a lot of companies falling into? Honestly, there would be a nuclear backlash. I actually think it could be the worst video game backlash we've seen since Cyberpunk, which is saying a lot. Not only because Xbox fans will be massively disappointed and fed up with bad exclusives, but also because PlayStation fans will use Starfield as an excuse to fan the console wars. Console wars are stupid, by the way, stop participating in them. I'm talking to both of you here. But this is a serious conversation that we need to have, because as excited as I am for Starfield, it could suck. Now, I don't think it will, I think it will be great. There's always that chance though. And while I have mentioned it before, I've never really gone into massive detail on the channel about this particular topic. See, if Starfield is bad, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of faith in Bethesda Game Studios and Xbox. Bethesda has pretty much made amazing games since the 90s, and all it took was Fallout 76 to make people stop believing in them. Now honestly I think it was more than just 76, which I actually think is a pretty decent game now. It's not great by any means, but it's okay. And I think it was Creation Club as well, Bethesda charging ridiculous prices for unimpressive mods, taking over a decade to release Elder Scrolls 6, of course that does take time and I think most of us are understanding of it, but then again they did also re-release Skyrim like 25 times, but they've never once remastered Fallout 3 for example. There's a lot that's gone on with Bethesda in the last few years that I think has made a lot of people sort of just stop having faith in them. It's not just Fallout 76, at least in my opinion. And look, Bethesda have even stated themselves that Starfield is how they plan to get back on track. They're going back to their classic RPG roots with Starfield, and that should bring a lot of classic players back, make them feel at home again, and give people faith in this once beloved studio. But if Starfield doesn't live up to that hype, that could be a catastrophe, not only for Bethesda as a whole, but Xbox too. That will be 2 bad games in a row, which is not going to look good for anyone. I think Bethesda will lose even more fans from this. I honestly think a lot of people will just outright sell their Xboxes, since we've got to remember, thousands of people have only purchased an Xbox recently for Starfield, Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5 and so on, but even more so I think Xbox will just lose players too. And the reason for that is because Xbox players are just desperate right now. We've had no decent exclusives in what feels like forever, and a lot of people are riding all of their faith on Starfield. It's supposed to be this huge, massive game, open world RPG that sells consoles, so if it sucks, these fans are going to be pissed off to say the least. And very quickly, I will mention this only because I have been asked about it so many times. What will happen to my channel if Starfield outright sucks? Of course I understand this question since 99% of my channel is Starfield, but the answer is I honestly don't know. I have a lot of faith riding on Starfield 2 for this very reason. I mean, I wouldn't quit the channel, I absolutely love what I do, I would never give it up. We would just do other content. But it's still a big risk that I'm taking, trying to dedicate most of my content to Starfield, and after Redfall's backlash, it seems a lot of people's expectations for Starfield have dropped tremendously. And look, with all of that said, 99% of us, me included, still gonna buy the Elder Scrolls 6 no matter what. Let's be honest with ourselves, we are still gonna go and buy the Elder Scrolls 6 no matter how bad Starfield sucks. The only thing that I think would stop us from buying Elder Scrolls 6 is really awful gameplay shown off. But there's absolutely zero doubt in my mind about that. Skyrim is way too big of a game. I honestly don't think Elder Scrolls 6 will be noticeably impacted by Starfield if Starfield is a bad game. I'm sure it will be impacted, but not enough to worry about. Honestly, I think that the biggest concern we all have right now is just Xbox, who have shown time and time again that they're perfectly happy putting out unfinished and mediocre games. And listen, look, if you like Redfall, that's great. All the more to you. I'm not trying to shit on you or shit on your opinions. It's great that you like it, I wish I did. But we need to acknowledge the fact that most people are not loving this game right now. And a lot of Xbox fans are very fed up with Xbox's treatment recently. I mean, Phil Spencer literally said in an interview the other day that Redfall wasn't on their radar. Like, what? This is your game, bro. It's your company. How the hell are you not checking on this game at least every few weeks? And sure, he said that they're being more careful with Starfield or whatever, but the big worry here is that you're basically admitting that you don't give a fuck about your exclusives. I apologise for my language, I am British after all, and as an Xbox fan and more so a Bethesda Game Studios fan, this shit worries me. Like, I'm sorry, but you can't sit there and admit, yeah, we weren't really paying attention to Redfall. You should be paying attention to all of your exclusives, dude. This shit is just embarrassing. Look, to make a long video short, since I'm basically just ranting now and have gone way off my script, if Starfield sucks, Xbox and Bethesda will feel a nuclear backlash, I promise you that. Starfield needs to be nothing short of amazing when it launches, and I know that that seems pretty unfair, but that's the hole that Microsoft and Xbox have unfortunately dug themselves into now, at least in my opinion. If Starfield is anything less than amazing, they are going to feel the backlash from Xbox and BGS fans. Although I do think that BGS fans will be a little more understanding and somewhat used to the buggy launch, but Jesus, Xbox really needs to hope that this game is good. But look, that is pretty much my thoughts anyway, guys. Please do drop the video a like for me if you haven't already, it really does help me out a ton. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you do want to stay up to date on all things Bethesda, I'm talking news, leaks, discussions, breakdowns of Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and so much more content, then please do consider subscribing. I cover absolutely all of it over here, and it would mean a lot. As always, a big, massive shout out to our channel members. You guys are absolute mad lads, and I could not do this job without you. Your continued support means everything to me. With all of that said and done, thank you all so much for watching, and I really hope to see you next time. Peace.